I know that there's 4 guys out there that hope I speak better than I golf, so they were kind enough to take me under their wing today and go nice and easy on me, so I hope the same thing happens to me tomorrow. I'd like to talk a little bit about legacy. The video that was just shown was the first time that I had seen the video, but I can tell from being in the New York City Fire Department that a lot of that video was filmed at the Fire Academy over in Randall's Island in the New York City Fire Department. And in the New York City Fire Academy, the video clips that you saw is exactly what happens for the 3 months that you're in the Fire Academy. It's a paramilitary organization. In the beginning, they try to weed out those that can't accomplish or those that don't have the desire to complete the task. And then after the weeding out process takes place, you get into the nuts and bolts of the Fire Academy. And you learn how to stretch a line, you learn how to climb an aerial, you learn how to put on your Scott mask, how to stay low in fire buildings. You learn the sequence of fire. You really learn just how to keep yourself alive, and should you be fortunate enough, how to rescue somebody if that opportunity should present itself. But the one thing that we didn't learn in the Fire Academy, and when I graduated the Fire Academy, like every probationary firefighter, we think we have the information necessary to have a successful fire department career. But what we don't learn in the Fire Academy is what's taught in the firehouse. Your legacy. You have an obligation to the fire department. You have an obligation to a job that's been around for 150 years to leave your firehouse better than you found it. To leave a legacy. You don't want to be the guy that when somebody brings up your name, whether you're active or retired, the eyes roll, the people walk away. You want to be the guy that when somebody mentions you, they have nothing but good things to say. You're a good firefighter. You showed up to work on time. You had a brother's back. You learned more in the firehouse about doing the right thing and paying it forward than you did in the Fire Academy. You try to leave a legacy. So, at the 19th year of the Jimmy V Cancer Research Foundation, and it should be required viewing for everybody, really, Jimmy Valvano's speech in 1993 at the ESPY Awards. When you look at a man who really stares his mortality in the face and realizes the truth of really what he's going through, and that unfortunately the end is near. When you watch that speech, you watch a man who would be so honored to know that 19 years later a legacy still exists. His wanting to pay it forward. I consider, now that I'm retired, I consider life a firehouse. I make sure that I try to go through life the same way I went through a firehouse. Again, like I said, when I graduated the Fire Academy, I thought I knew everything. I thought I knew everything to keep myself alive, but what I didn't know was how to pay it forward. I didn't know how to leave things better than I found them. And the legacy of the Jimmy V Foundation is what's taking place here tonight, 19 years, and we're still, or they are still, paying it forward. In the life, or in the firehouse, Jimmy V, he did the right thing. He did so much more than probably he ever hoped to do. And certainly I'm sure that, like everybody else, he thought that he had it all. He knew what life was about. But sometimes, in my case certainly, and I'll admit it, until you stare mortality in the face, you really don't know that you haven't paid it forward. Jimmy, in his speech, Jimmy V speaks about 3 things, 3 areas in life. The past, the present, and the future. And out of those 3 areas, 2 of them are nothing we can do anything about anymore. We have our pasts, and they are what they are, and we hope that we certainly haven't left a lot of wreckage. We have our present, and we're here tonight. And the only thing that we can change, or the only thing that we can make a commitment about changing, is the future. And so I myself, I identified with that right away, because I knew that before September 11th, I thought that the important things in life were a steady job, pay my mortgage, pay my bills, and just try to keep out of trouble. But after September 11th, I saw a dedication to sacrifice. As a New York City firefighter, I still stand in awe of what the members of the New York City Fire Department did that day, and their legacy. And when that happened, I realized right then and there that the job was never going to be the same. It had no right to be the same. And for those that survived, we had to learn how to recognize the sacrifice of those really who went before us and continue to pay it forward. I got involved in some situations over the past couple of years where we tried to seek acknowledgement for our cancers and our illnesses, and I think, or at least the word is that we've been successful. This grant by the Jimmy V Foundation is going to go specifically to September 11th first responders. We're different than other cancer patients. It's my belief that certainly my thyroid cancer was caused by my exposure to the toxic environment at the Trade Center. So we need to kind of switch the research, and where it's maybe a family history, maybe it's something that's hereditary. This particular situation's not. This is healthy, probably, maybe, in all likelihood, young men who would have still been healthy, who now suffer cancer at early ages because of their toxic exposure to the Trade Center. So we need to kind of change our research. And again, like I said, it's my honor to be here and accept this, and 19 years later, if I can just impart one thing, if I could leave you with one thing, it's to ask yourself if you've done everything with your life that you've wanted to do. And it's not only about what it is that you're doing for yourself, but what it is you could do for somebody else. You know, Jimmy V, during his speech, said if you see him, you give him a hug, that means a lot. Sometimes people who don't have anything at all, friendship, a hug, a phone call, checking in on your neighbor, paying it forward, these are the things in life, this is the future. They're the things in life that we have an obligation and an opportunity to see to it that we do. And like I said, the three parts that he speaks about, the two we can't do anything about, and the one we can make the change. We can continue to pay it forward. In closing, I'd like to introduce Jen McNamara. Jen is the wife of John McNamara, who was a firefighter in Engine Company 234 in Brooklyn, who had the same tenacity as Jimmy V did. John McNamara, when he faced the truth, really, the fact that he was going to die, and he eventually, in August of 2009, he did pass away. Before John passed away, he made a vow that although cancer was going to beat him, he was going to see to it that everything and anything he could possibly do in the future to see that cancer didn't beat somebody else, he did. He showed up to rallies, he made phone calls, he held politicians accountable. Really, to be honest with you, until his dying day, he fought for health benefits of New York City firefighters. Jimmy Valvano said in his speech that there were three things that cancer couldn't take away. It wasn't going to take away his body, but his spirit, his heart and his soul. His mind, his heart, and his soul were the three things that weren't going to be taken away from him. And John McNamara was the same exact way. Sometimes you'll find incredible people who do courageous things in the most desperate times. And to watch Jimmy V's speech 2 months before he passed away, and his booming voice and his desire to live, that's the same thing as John McNamara had. He had a booming voice until the day he died. He had a desire to live. But I think that there came a time, like I said, that they realized that it was a battle they weren't going to win. It was a battle that unfortunately was going to take their body, but wasn't going to take their mind or their heart or their soul. And they left a legacy. and they continue to this day to pay it forward. And really, is there any greater gift you can give somebody than to continue to give the gifts of life when you're no longer around to receive them? So, again, I want to thank you for having me here tonight. It's an honor to accept this donation on behalf of September 11th first responders. I'm just one of more than we can ever count, believe me. So I understand my position, and I'm very humbled to be up here speaking about it tonight. I thank you for your time. I apologize to whoever I'm golfing with tomorrow in advance. And I'd like to welcome Jennifer and Jack McNamara as they say a few words.